Now, for the longest time, our main source of light has been the sun. And it wasn't really until the invention of fire that we could light up the evening and night. And now in modern times we use LED lights to make us way less dependent on our sun. Painters back then, and to this day even, use natural light by having big windows in their studios to let that sun in. But what did they do during nighttime? And how would you go about painting if it was even possible? Can you paint by using candlelight? Oil and candles were way more expensive back then than they are today, so that was probably not a very feasible option to use during nighttime. But that is not the biggest problem. Apart from being expensive, it also gives you a very warm and yellow light, as you can see here on my skin, which is generally not what you want when painting. When painting, we want to work in a neutral light, which is around 4000 to 6500 on the Kelvin scale. Now, 4000 being sort of the morning sun, 5000 at noon, and 6500 is like a clear blue sky. Now, a white light gives us the most accurate color reflecting back into our eyes. So, green looks green, red looks red. But if we use something else, like candlelight, which is around 1000 to 2000 Kelvin on the Kelvin scale, that causes a huge problem because the light itself does not necessarily reflect the right color of the paint that we're using, and some wavelengths get absorbed by the object. Now, let's say we have a blue light here, and I have 3 different colored balls. If we shine the blue light on these, you can see that it influences what color is reflected back. The white looks blue, the blue looks very blue, and the red looks sort of darker. It's not very clear here, but the point is it changes things. Now, when I started painting this, it was still dusk, so I had a few minutes of sunlight left before it got really dark. So dark, in fact, that I had to put a candle on my palette while working to just be able to see anything, basically. So what I did was I tried to focus on finding the values and the shapes within the painting, which is usually what I focus on. I tend to focus less on what exact the color is. And I knew which color I had on my palette, and I have a general idea of color mixing. So even though I was half blind because the light was yellow and it was really, really dark, I felt that I had enough of information to make it work. But the biggest issue with this approach, using candlelight as my light source while painting, was just the amount of strain it put on my eyes, and I felt really, really tired after painting for a bit because I felt myself really squinting a lot and really trying to like focus, and maybe it's my age. I felt like stuff started to get very, very muddy, and it was hard to know how dark something was compared to another thing, especially on my canvas. But crazy enough, it actually came out pretty good, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, sure, it was just a quick sketch. I think I spent about an hour doing it, but I was super surprised waking up in the morning and actually seeing it in daylight. So, to answer the question, can you paint a candle by candlelight? Well, yes. It turns out you actually can, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I imagine painters like, I don't know, Rubens or Caravaggio probably just spent the night doing something else, like sleeping or drinking maybe, or reading a book, I don't know, and waited for the sun to come up again. Yeah, sun is going down here though. I'm pretty sure they didn't paint by candlelight. What was the point of this? I think that was the point. just trying to have fun and experiment a bit. I feel like, yeah, get yourself out of your comfort zone. Paint by candlelight. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.